and it's the government is shut down. Is America still here? Is everything still functioning? Are the street lights still on? I know that's local state government. Is the government still, is America as a whole still here? It absolutely is. Now, one of the things that's coming out of this that the Democrats are going to regret is they've already started talking about it. They're going to start firing people in the federal government that is there just soaking up air. That's it. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Just soaking up air. So they're going to end up firing a lot of people in the federal government that's not doing anything, that hasn't done anything, and the Democrats they've actually shot themselves in the foot. Now, let's do the math on this. This is the reason why I'm doing my show today, because I want to do the math on this. So before I came on here, I used Grok, which is a form of AI, like ChatGPT and a few others. So I went on to Grok and I went on there and I asked how many Republicans voted to keep the government open, to keep it open, to prevent it from shutting down. And the information I saw, it said 54 Republicans. All Republicans except for one voted for it. The one that did not vote for it was Rand Paul. I'm not sure what's going on with Rand Paul. At one point in history, he was a firecracker, but something happened. I don't know. Maybe because Fauci's walking free. I don't know. But anyways, but we had one Democrat that did vote to keep the government open. John Fetterman. John Fetterman voted to keep the government open. And I'm like, John Fetterman, he's still not all the way there, but John Fetterman actually voted to keep the government open, and the Democrats are piping mad about it, of course. They're angry. They're livid. So how many Democrats, other than John Fetterman, voted? Well, 44 Democrats voted to keep the government shut down. Now, when I say let's do the math on this, I hope you understand. Because the Democrats right now, they're all screaming, kicking and screaming, of course, and they're all saying that the Republicans shut the government down. So if we do the math correctly here, and we look at the math, and we look at this, 54 Republicans, minus Rand Paul. So essentially, basically, all of the Republicans voted to keep the government open. They all voted to keep the government open. All of them except for one, but technically, all of the Republicans voted to keep the government open. But the Democrats, on the other hand, minus all of them voted to shut the government down. So when I ask this question about let's do the math on this, is anyone having a hard time understanding the math on this? I mean, it's not even a trick mathematical problem. It's almost asking 2 + 2 = what? I mean, it really is. 2 + 2 = what? When you have just about every last Democrat saying no to keeping the government open. Come on, people. Every last one of them saying no to keeping the government open. Saying no. And every Republican, minus one, both sides has minus one, to keep the government open. What does that say? The Republicans voted to keep the government open. The Democrats voted to shut the government down. So now you have all these radical leftist lunatics going all over social media, all over the liberal media outlets, Communist News Network, MSDNC, saying the Republicans shut it down. I don't understand how the math is so difficult. How was the math so difficult for Democrats, for majority of the people that listen to this crap understand it? I don't understand. Is it, you know what it makes me think about? The same people that want you to believe that the Republicans are shutting the government down, they are the same people wanting you to believe a man in a dress is a woman. The same people. So they lie about, they will lie to you about one thing, but they won't lie to you about another. They're lying to you about something that you clearly know the truth to, and they're lying to you. And then when it comes to them wanting to have illegals get health care, the Democrats are lying. There's video after video coming to surface, even on CBS, questioning Elizabeth Warren about that the Democrats had it in there that they wanted medical services to be provided to illegals. And Elizabeth Warren gets butthurt. I have the clip for you. I'm going to share it with you. She gets upset. But all of these Democrats, they get on these talk shows and they run out there really quick and they lie through their teeth, trying to convince everybody that it's the Republicans that shut the government down. But when you go look at the math on all of this is that the Democrats are the ones that shut it down. I mean, really, just come on. How difficult is it? I mean, really, how difficult is it? And on top of that, after looking at all this information, come to find out the CR that they passed in the House, sent over to the Senate, because the Senate's having an issue, sent over to the Senate, is the same CR that the Democrats voted for 13 times. 13 times. Let me say that again. The CR that the Republicans passed in the House, mind you, without the help of Democrats, because in the House is different. In the House, the Republicans have the majority. All they have to do is get all the Republicans to vote on it. They don't need a Democrat to vote for it. They don't. So that it passed in the House. It went over. It's the same one. The same one that the Democrats had for the last 4 years with Joe Biden. And they all kept saying that you got to pass it. Republicans, you got to pass it. And the Republicans were like, you know, some of this stuff in here is not even right. Some of the stuff is not in right. But the Republicans had this in the CR this time because they said, look, we got to pass this. We don't like everything in there. There's some stuff in there the Democrats have in there. They were happy with it 13 times. So obviously there's stuff in there that we, the American people, don't like, but it was in there. And now all of a sudden, it passed in the House, go to the Senate, and these same Democrats that passed it 13 times, all of a sudden said that, nope, this is not what we wanted. This is so clear about how the Democrats are about our country. It is so clear. I'm trying to think of a simple analogy here to use in all of this. You know, as for example, like we all agree that we have to drink water at some point, right? Some people believe that you have to drink 8 glasses of water a day. 8 glasses. Some people think that you just need to drink when your body, you know, is calling for water. I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor, any of that. I'm just using this as an analogy, YouTube. And what happens is that we all agree that we all need water at some point. Well, in this case, the Democrats got down to the end and said, no. We don't need water. We don't need water. This is exactly what they're doing. They're saying right now, we don't need any water. After they agreed to drink water for the past 13 times, now all of a sudden, we don't need any water. It's the exact same thing here. And you have, of course, all of the liberal media news trying to say this is the Republican shutdown. The Republicans voted to keep the government open. They said, yes, keep the government open. Yes, keep the government open. The Democrats said, no, shut it down. What am I missing here? And I don't know why you don't even have some of the mainstream conservative media outlets bringing this point up. Maybe they have, I just hadn't seen it. But the math here clearly shows that the Democrats said no to the same thing. Now, I know some of them talking about this has been the same bill that the Democrats had before, but look at the math. Look at the math. We can't do math, right? 2 + 2 = what? 4. So because the Democrats shut the government down, the federal government, they run all over to MSDNC and CNN or anyone who have them that will listen to their nonsense, and they spew rhetoric. Once again, listen to this nut job here. Chris Murphy, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Murphy, listen to him, because he's going to sit there and say what President Trump is doing is dangerous. He's spewing out rhetoric that has nothing to do with this. And he won't even come on here and say, look, all of us voted against this because President Trump is not giving us back what we wanted. Look, we're going into the midterm elections. President Trump has taken away their funding. And the more I look at the way they're fighting to get more funding back in for the Democrats, because President Trump took it all out, the Democrats are like, nope. We have to do this as the last stand. We have to do this as the last stand, because if we don't, they're going to crush us. Listen to how he just blatantly makes up nonsense. And how do you think people listening to this crap on MSDNC is going to want to react?
The more that Donald Trump acts illegally, the more...
You hear this? More President Trump. And he don't even say President Trump. He says Donald Trump. Disrespectful heathen. He's saying the more President Trump acts illegally. What is President Trump that's doing illegal? See, I'm sitting there listening to this, and it's like they're gearing up, if they ever get the pendulum to swing, to say that, well, President Trump did all of this illegal stuff, so we have to impeach him. I'm telling y'all right now, listen, I'll try not to stop it again, but you know how that works.
The more that Donald Trump acts illegally, the more that he shuts off money only for Democratic states, the more that he threatens to illegally fire federal workers.
Oh, see, there it is. I know I said I wasn't going to stop it, but I have to. I got to stop it right there really quick. Did you hear the key word? Money. Money. He's saying President Trump is preventing money from going to blue states. You hear this? This is what it's all about. President Trump, USAID, and other federal programs. I can't remember all the other ones. That's why I say USAID, because everyone is familiar. When President Trump shut down these federal programs that the Democrats were using to funnel money to their campaigns, to the DNC, this is the reason why they all got angry. This is the reason why he's saying what he's saying. He's saying that they're preventing money from going to blue states, meaning going to their pockets to help them out for their campaign. Our tax dollar. I would never, ever give a dime to a Democrat. And I don't want them taking my money and funneling it through different government organizations to get that money to them. And that's exactly what they've been doing. This is the reason why they're upset. President Trump has found their cash cow. President Trump is shutting down their cash cow. Because the small donors, they're not donating money to the DNC. They're getting all their money from the federal government. They've already laid it out there. USAID. And now he's shutting down more of it. And I'm telling y'all right now, without me being in the room, they're saying this is the last stand. This is it. This right here. This is our last stand. We've got to stop Trump now. We got to stop him now. Shut the government down. And we'll say that is him. When you clearly look at the math, all of them are the one that did it. Minus Fetterman. All of them.
The stiffer our spine should become. He's trying to bully Democrats into signing off on a budget that's going to be terrible for.
He's trying to bully Democrats on signing off on a budget that's going to be terrible for the American people. The same bill that they signed off on 13 times. 13 times these Democrats pushed this same CR. But now all of a sudden it's bad. Why would anyone trust the Democrats? Why would anybody trust them? Are people truly that naive? You know, there really are. There's a lot of naive people out there. And I post little small videos every different places and stuff like that. And these people come out the woodworks just mad at me because I'm calling out the numbers. 2 + 2 = 4. I don't care how you try to feel about it or how you try to say something else about it. 2 + 2 = 4. And they're mad because I'm saying it.
For the American people that is going to bankrupt American families. We should not let his illegal firings, his illegal withholding of funds.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that part too. He's saying it's illegal firings. The Democrats shut the federal government down. The Democrats did this. And now President Trump has every right. They have handed him the authority. Because even though they shut the government down, we still have a president. The Democrats didn't think this through. I'm telling y'all right now. Let me say that again. Even though the Democrats shut the government down, we still have a president. And our president is Donald J. Trump. Yes. So what President Trump is doing, he says, okay, you shut it down. Everything shut down. See, President Trump is a businessman. He was a businessman before he became president. So President Trump understands when going into a business and going to a company, when the company is having major issues, and sometimes you have to do it. You have to lay people off. You have to lay people off. It just comes with the nature of the beast. Here in this case, the federal government has been wastefully spending money, and people have been working in the federal government. They go in, do nothing. I saw one video, one guy, he'll go in, check in, put his bag down, and then go over to the gym for the next 4 hours, then go back to work. He go to lunch, and then he go in and maybe check a couple of emails, and then he go home. He did that every single day for years. Every single day for years. And it's not just him. That's just one example. So President Trump has every right, every opportunity, because we still have a president, even though the Democrats shut the government down, he gets to go in and say, all of these jobs here, we don't need them. We can function as a nation without them. And I think that's what needs to take place personally. It needs to happen. The Democrats just handed it to President Trump on a silver platter with gold trimming. You know, President Trump liked that gold. I mean, a silver platter with gold trimming. They just handed it to him. So President Trump has every right to do it. By law, he has every right to do it. But listen to this nut job, Chris Murphy, lie through his teeth trying to say President Trump is doing unlawful stuff. This is the rhetoric that they put out there trying to convince people not to believe the truth.
Bully us into submission. We should stand for something. We should stand for something on behalf of the American people. And what this fight is about, yes, trying to make sure that healthcare premiums don't go sky high for families. But it is also about protecting our democracy. And if we end up signing off and voting for a budget that literally funds the destruction of our democracy, that funds the censorship state that is growing in this country.
The censorship state. I mean, this thing is so loaded, our democracy. We're a constitutional republic. They're repeating stuff and not thinking people will know the truth, because the people that watch that crap don't. But the censorship? Are you kidding me? Let's go look at the censorship happening right now. I'm on YouTube. I'm looking at my YouTube, and thank you so much for being there, and thank you so much for commenting. And yes, Sherry, I did vote for this. I sure did. You like this? This is on my website. If you want to pick up one of these, it is on my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Yes, I did vote for this. But talking about the censorship, I have over 100,000 people on my YouTube channel, and they won't even allow 1% to get a notification. And I think it was Sherry earlier. Someone said, Shirley said earlier that the YouTube is making it hard to get a notification. So they're not allowing people to get notifications from my YouTube channel, right? And then let's go over to Facebook. Talking about censorship, because that's where the censorship is really hot and heavy. It's still happening. After everything that's happened, after all the information has come out, after even Google acknowledged it, it's still happening. Facebook is right now in my world. Facebook is the worst. I mean, I have 300, and it just actually went up 374,000. I was right at a 500,000 before they did the thing to me. But there's 89 people on there watching right now. Not even 1% getting a notification. And I want to say thank you to all of you for being there and giving me comments, leaving comments. Thank you so much for sharing it. And hit the heart button on Facebook. And let's go over to Peel.net. Peel.net is a new platform for me. And I have very, very, very little people on Peel.net. And there's people on Peel.net. And see, I know Peel.net, they don't block. Because I can look at Peel.net and I'm at the top. I'm the second one on the list on Peel.net. But there's a lot of people that's not aware of Peel.net as of yet. And then, of course, we have Rumble. And Rumble, if they don't censor, they don't block. I just don't know why the rest of them can't. I don't know why the rest of them, well, I do know why. Because they don't like the fact that I'm an American citizen that supports President Trump. That's why they don't like it. And they're still doing the censorship. But this dude had the nerve, the audacity talking about the censorship. Really? When the past 4 years, the Hunter Biden laptop, them removing conservatives, them removing people who even question all of the crap that they were pushing onto us, lost their accounts, lost their income, lost their channels, everything. They silenced people just like authoritarians would. Tyrants. They did all of that and they were completely fine with it. President Trump just won a lawsuit. Google agreed to pay $24.5 million to President Trump because they took him off the platform. So I don't know what the number is looking like from Facebook because Facebook took him down too. Twitter did too. Is Elon Musk going to say, well, now that I own Twitter, or now I own Twitter, and now it's Twitter X, is Elon Musk, because he can afford it, Elon Musk can say, you know what, Mr. President, I'm going to pay you $150 million because of what they did. That's like $10, if that, to Elon Musk. $10. Here's $150 million for what happened. Put it towards your library, whatever. You understand? And this dude, Democrats, they are not friendly people. They don't have the best interests of the American people.
Funds the censorship state that is growing in this country, we will live to regret it. So as Donald Trump acts more illegally and more outrageously, it's not a moment for us to get weaker. This is a moment for us to get stronger.
No, so they need to grow a spine, need to get a backbone. And again, do the math. All the Democrats said, nope, shut it down. All the Republicans said, no, let's keep the government open. Let's keep the government open. And all of them said, nope, shut it down, shut it down. And the reason why they want to shut it down, because they're suffering from TDS. TDS is a real thing. And as I mentioned to you earlier, and I saw this right before I came on. With these Democrats. Elizabeth Warren goes on CBS, which is supposed to be a friendly outlet to Democrats. By and large, they are. Okay, let's just keep it real here. By and large, CBS is extremely friendly to Democrats. ABC, NBC, CNN, all of them. Because they're basically the media outlets, NPR, for the Democrat Party. They'll help the Democrats out. The Democrats do something wrong. 9.5 times out of 10, the Democrats are safe to go on these platforms because they're going to defend them and protect them. Demons will protect demons. Well, listen to this. Elizabeth Warren runs over to CBS, of course, CBS Morning. And of course, in her mind, this is a safe space. I can come on here and lie to the American people and it'll be okay because they're going to be on our side about it. Watch this interaction.
You know, Republicans say what you're really fighting for is taxpayer dollars for, as they put it, illegal aliens.
What do you mean, as they put it? Are they not illegal? I mean, as they put it, illegal aliens.
I know that's not strictly true, but there is a provision.
Excuse me, not strictly true.
It's not.
Oh, excuse me, not strictly true. Not strictly true. What? She's going to get triggered.
It is
True
a
directly, but
flat-out lie. It is a flat-out lie.
The way that they frame
There is nothing
it.
in Medicaid, there is nothing in Medicare that permits one undocumented immigrant to get $1 of assistance.
Senator, if you let me finish the
Zero.
question.
Of course,
Senator,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, in the Democratic counteroffer, the proposal for funding, there is a restoration of Medicaid benefits for certain non-citizens that it had been taken away in the big, beautiful bill, as the Republicans put it. Republicans don't think those people should be getting health care on the...
Oh, he just called her out. He just called her out. In the big, beautiful bill. Y'all remember that bill, President Trump? That's what Elon Musk got a little upset with President Trump. And, you know, since then they kissed and made up. But the big, beautiful bill, President Trump took it all up. Said, nope, no more funding going to illegals. They all got upset. They're trying to put it back into play. He just called him out. He just called her out on it on CBS of all places. Left-leaning CBS just called her out. And she's like, nope. You're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be lying with us. We need to convince the American people that we're fighting for them and not the people that we brought in to replace them. You know, the whole replacement theory.
The taxpayer dime. I'm not asking on the merits. Politically, putting that in there exposes you to this talking point, this lie, as you put it. Why put it in there? Why is it worth it?
No, what's happened
Watch this.
is that what we're saying is that whenever hospitals give care, what is going to be the level of reimbursement? And the Republicans said it's going to be a low level. The Democrats said we just want to go back to the level it was before because you're going to bankrupt hospitals. You're going to put rural hospitals out of business.
That's not what he was asking. And that's not what the bill is all about. The Democrats were making it to where illegals were getting health care. It was no secret. She was one of the idiots that raised their hand during the 2020 election talking about President Trump, or talking about, will you have it in your policy to give undocumented, as they want to refer to it, illegals health care? They all raised their hand, including her. And now she's trying to act like, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we want. They're lying through their teeth. Again, these are the same people that would tell you a man in a dress is a woman. But here, now they're being honest, right? Here they're being honest. Yeah, whatever.
Republicans and the Democrats plan, nothing changes the number of undocumented immigrants who still get care if they show up bleeding and unconscious at an emergency room. There is absolutely zero difference. The difference is whether or not hospitals, who under laws that date back to Ronald Reagan, may provide emergency care to anyone who's unconscious, will actually get reimbursed at a very low level that will put the hospital ultimately out of business potentially, or at a higher level.
You hear what's happening here? She's fudging it. Of course, if someone shows up to a hospital and they're unconscious and bleeding out the side of the neck, the hospital is going to look at the human being and provide services to them. What she's conveniently leaving out are the number of people showing up to the emergency room for stuff that were not even emergency procedures. They were coerced, illegals were coerced to show up to the emergency room because they're not supposed to be turned away. Not supposed to be turned away. You show up in an emergency room, you don't have insurance. They technically, to my understanding, I'm not a doctor. Y'all can help me out in the chat. Technically, they don't turn you away. You just get a really big, stiff bill. as an American citizen, but a non-American citizen, they don't have to pay that. You and I, we pay it. And what's end up happening is that because we're paying for the people that are not American citizens, it causes our premiums to go up. It causes the emergency health care for us to go up because somebody has to pay for the illegals that are showing up in the emergency room. Y'all help me out. Look, this is what I've been told. This is what's been told. This has been what's been reported. This is what's happening. And the Democrats conveniently leave that detail out every single time. See, the Democrats will figure out how to manipulate the system. And they do this because all these people that they brought into the country, they brought them into the country for what reason? To become Democrats. The whole idea is to get the people that they brought into the country to vote Democrat. See, illegals, by law, they cannot receive government health care. By law. So the Democrats said, well, how can we work around that? I know, we just have them go to the emergency room because by law, they can't be turned away. Elizabeth Warren just said it. She just said it. It's the same thing with illegals coming into the country. They can't vote, but how can we use them if we bring them to the country? We can put them in different locations for the Electoral College. When we do the redistricting, we have X amount of people in a certain location. We can use them in these locations to do the redistricting to benefit Democrats. They can't vote. They'll say it. Oh, by law, they can't vote. But they put them in locations where they can help the Electoral College for Democrats and the redistricting. You see how that's working? Same thing they did. They're doing the same thing or trying to do the same thing with the healthcare. President Trump, he learned the game. I remember, I never forget it, James Comey, he was talking to Jen Psaki, and he said, if we do not get Trump, if we do not stop Trump, he's going to get us. He's going to be wiser this time around because President Trump knows the lay of the land now. President Trump knows what's going on. President Trump got it down. And President Trump found their cash cows. Not singular, but plural. He found them. And he's shutting their cash cows down. And they're upset about it. I mean, think about it. If you were able to go into the federal government and you can manipulate the federal government to the point to where you can just get billions of dollars coming your way. And because you're the federal government, no one is stopping you. And then you figure out how to funnel money to programs that benefit you, benefit your party, to try to make sure that you stay in power, because that's what it's all about for them. Why wouldn't you do it? And then here comes President Trump, because a lot of Republicans, just to be clear here, a lot of Republicans, they were taking advantage of this system as well. There's a lot of Republicans doing the same thing, taking advantage of the system. They were taking advantage of the system as well. Right? Let's just be honest here. Let's be honest. They were taking advantage of the system. And because they were taking advantage of the system, right? They were able to get away with it, and none of the Republicans will say anything about the Democrats doing. It's kind of like the insider trading. You know, when they do the insider trading, remember how they were doing that? None of them will say anything about it. None of them. None of them, especially Dan Crenshaw. You notice you don't hear Dan Crenshaw say nothing about the insider trading. Why not? Why not? AOC, she used to say stuff about the insider trading, but she doesn't. It's the same thing. As long as they're all in cahoots with it and all making money, they're perfectly fine. Now, they're all working for we the people, and they go in there, not millionaires, but they come out millionaires. I saw this guy did a video, and I don't even know his name. He does these videos saying, You know, the Democrat, they do one thing and then they do another. Here's an example. And you might know as soon as I say this. The Democrats have or politicians in general, have an extremely hard time balancing the budget. But they all come out as millionaires. They have a hard time balancing the federal government budget, but they all come out millionaires. They're not to balance something to their benefit. Every single time we see it happen. Every single time. Here's another one I want to share with you. How the Democrats, they're now having their own special committees, and they all join together. And this is, I guess this is when they had the cameras on before they went behind closed doors. Here is the deep state, the shadow government. Remember when President Trump won the election in 2024, that actually some Democrats went onto the floor and said that they're creating a shadow government to shadow over President Trump. So when President Trump does something, they'll have someone on their side that's supposedly equivalent to the Republican President Trump's cabinet, and they'll discuss things, what can be done and what can't be done. This is the deep state right here, part of it, part of the shadow government. Listen to how they're trying to say what President Trump is doing. They're mad, everybody.
Your first question is the most important. Why does Trump think he's going to get away with this?
Why is Trump think he's going to get away with this? Get away with what? Making America great again? That's the problem. How dare Trump think he's going to get away with making America great again? That's essentially what he's saying. Listen to him.
Your first question is the most important. Why does Trump think he's going to get away with this? Trump thinks he's going to get away with this, which is just wildly unpopular, throwing 17 million people off their health care, jacking people's costs up by 75.
Illegals, and he's going to get away with this. Oh, my goodness. You think he's going to get away with this?
% closing nursing homes. He thinks he's going to get away with it because at the same time, he's trying to crush dissent in this country. He's trying to shut up people who criticize him. He's trying to threaten us, right? Members of the Senate with imprisonment because they dare to oppose him.
Really? Oh my goodness. That you know what? I've watched this like twice. No, one time. I watched it one. This is the second time. Twice. When did President Trump threaten people in the Senate? Prison time because they disagree with him. When did President Trump do that? Did y'all hear? Listen again. Listen again. It stood out like a sore thumb. When did President Trump has never done that. This is them telling you what they plan on doing if the pendulums ever swings in their way.
Criticize him. He's trying to threaten us, right? Members of the Senate with imprisonment because they dare to oppose him.
When did that ever happen? When did that ever happen? The Democrats lie. This is a blatant lie. If you're a Democrat yourself, put it in the comments. Say, yeah, of course, Will Johnson, he threatened to put so-and-so in prison because they disagreed with him. Show me. Show me.
And he's betting that it's going to work. He's betting that at the same time that he's doing all these unpopular things, throwing people off their health care in order to enrich his Mar-a-Lago buddies.
Oh, my goodness. So throwing illegals off of health care now is going to enrich his Mar-a-Lago buddies. Now watch Elizabeth Warren. She's going to light up here in just a second. Watch this.
He's also going to be successful in repressing people from protesting him.
Right here. He's going to suppress people from protesting when President Trump has made it clear the Constitution's not going anywhere. We have the right to peacefully, keyword, peacefully assemble and protest. We have the right. This dude is lying. Now watch her.
And that's how we stop him. We stop him.
What? Did y'all see her? Look at, she's happy about what he just said, and it's a blatant lie.
Be successful in repressing people from protesting him. And that's how we stop him. We stop him by showing him that he can't actually shut the American people up. He can't actually stop people from seeing the corruption. But if we speak up and the pressure mounts on Republicans, to do the right thing for their political careers, not throw people off their health care before the next election, well, then we have a chance to improve people's lives.
That is so rich. This dude is like the spokesman for the Democrats when it's talking about censorship, when that's all that they did the past 4 years. And they're still, these tech companies, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. Let me ask y'all a question. Everyone that's watching right now, because this is something that I've been thinking about doing. And it only works if you help me. It will only work if you help me. I wrote a letter to President Trump 2 days ago, right before the shutdown took place, and I put it in the mail. Now, I put it in the mail, and I'm thinking to myself, is it going to actually get to the White House now because the government is technically shut down because of the Democrats? But I've never done anything like this before. I wrote a letter to President Trump. And I put in the letter what big tech company has done to me. And the reason why I wrote this letter is because they're still doing it to me. They've crushed me financially just really terribly. And all the liberals that are watching are happy about it, right? But I know I'm trusting in our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm trusting in God. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to keep pushing forward. So I wrote this letter to President Trump asking him to look at what these tech companies have done to Americans. And not only that, what they're still doing to Americans. They're still doing it to me right now. And the reason why I'm telling everybody about this, and the reason why I did it, because, Google just admitted to what they've done to conservatives, during Joe Biden's time and right before Joe Biden, when President Trump was in office last time. And they just agreed to pay $25 million to President Trump because they took him down. And my thing is the rest of us, President Trump. And the reason why I'm telling everybody this, I'm going to write up another letter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my website. And this is something I'm asking you, leave me a comment, because we have Instagram on comments right here showing up. Peel.net will show up. Facebook shows up. YouTube shows up. And Rumble shows up right here in the comments if you leave me a comment. If I write another letter, pretty much the same letter, and just put it in there asking for everyone that's watching me that supported me throughout the years, if I put a letter on my website and make it where you can download it, make a copy of it, print it out yourself and sign it, and would you mail it to President Trump? Because just imagine if we get 100 people, just 100 people to download that letter from our website and mail it to President Trump saying, President Trump, please listen to Will Johnson's story, because my story is not unique. It's not. It'd be one thing if it was just Will Johnson, but my story is not unique. It has happened to thousands of people. So would you do that? If I write that letter and I put it on my website, would you do that? Would you help me? And the only thing it would cost you would be a stamp, right? Or 2 stamps. 1 stamp. I think it's 1 stamp, depending on how close you are to DC. Would you do that? Would that be something you'd be willing to help me with? Right? Because I've constantly asked people to go to my website and support me on my website. I've constantly asked people to do that, uniteamerica1st.com. So, and I see some people saying, write it. So I'm gonna write it and I'm gonna put it on my website. And then so I have it on my website by tomorrow. So by tomorrow, when I come on, it'll be Friday. I'll have it on there. And I'm going to ask you if you would just, download it, print it out, and I make it where you sign it, put your stuff on there, because it needs to be an actual person, right? You sign it, put it in the envelope and mail it. And you say, please look at Will Johnson's story. He's already sent you a letter. He's already sent you a letter. So I'll have it up there tomorrow. I see quite a few people saying that they'll do it. So make sure, uniteamerica1st.com. Because again, and the thing is, I'm not saying that, well, President Trump, just do it for me. No, my letter to President Trump is for America. President Trump, they just admit to what they did to him. And because he has the loudest voice in the world, President Trump has the loudest voice in the world. All I'm asking for him to do is think about those of us that don't have a voice like him. Because he could tell them, hey, y'all, you just paid it out to me. You need to reverse what you've done to all these people. People have lost their livelihoods. And I'll never forget it. YouTube had videos where they were telling people, leave your day job, become a content creator. And a lot of people did it. And a lot of people left their job, became content creators. And then all of a sudden, they get banned and blocked and they lose their channels. How disgusting is that? How disgusting is that? It's right down disgusting. All right. I'm going to get off of here. I will have the letter up there tomorrow. And you'll see how I have it written. And you know what? This is just entirely up to you at your discretion. At the same time, I still need your help until President Trump can actually make a change. And this is something that I think that he should want to do because he's the president for all Americans. And when Americans are hurting, I think as President Trump, it's his duty to try to help us with this pain. They just admitted to what they did to him, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it to us. They're still doing it. So if you would, please, if you could consider going to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, right here, and you can support me at the top. And I've told this all the time. Right there, you can see Culture Wars coming up just 1 hour and 10 minutes from now. All you have to do is come to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, click on Culture Wars, and it will take you there. And then later today, I do another show with this young man named Barry Newsbaum. Phenomenal young man. And is on fire for Israel and God. I love it. So make sure you come to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. You can see the times on there. And as I told people before, that I was going to create a shirt. Did I show y'all the shirt yesterday? I created a shirt. If you come here, go to merch. And then go right here. Jesus is King. Jesus is King. I just put this one out there. I ordered mine day before yesterday. I'm hoping to have it before the 18th. I like to get it at least the 17th, But I'm hoping to have it before the 18th. Why before the 18th? Because the liberals are organizing another No Kings event. So I'm hoping this should be enough time, right? Today's October the 2nd. Should be enough time to get it, to receive it, right? Should only be like a week or so, right? I should get it well before then. But look at it. It's a really good looking shirt. Jesus is King. And right below it in the small print, I know it's kind of hard to see there, it says, and Trump is our president. Jesus is King. So if you like it, you can go to my website and pick up one too. It's a different material on this shirt. I have never ordered. I never selected this material shirt. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it because it's kind of it's not real baggy or anything. And I like the shape of it. And I got multiple colors on there, multiple colors. So there's different colors on there. I don't have the other colors of the shirts on there. I need to add those on there. But if you come here, you can click on the different colors that are available. And I'll try to have images for those here shortly. But typically, most people, like myself, I always get a black shirt. I think ladies understand it because it's slimming. Makes me look a little bit slimmer. But that's it. All right, everybody. 1 hour from now, Culture Wars, please, if you would, go over to my website, set a mobile alert on your phone, and come join me. Come join me on Culture Wars. And then my other show, you can see right there in the front of my website here. Let me go back up to the main page here. Right here at the main page, you can come up here and you can see it, Culture Wars. Culture Wars. You'll see it right there. Culture Wars. And then with Barry Newsbaum right there. Check it out. All right, everybody. God bless. See you in 1 hour and a little bit after that. It's after 2 hours for the other one. 3 hours. All right. God bless everybody. Take care. See you on the flip side. Stay safe out there. And I have some explosive stuff to share on my Culture War show.